So we have a pastor here, guys, by the name of Jamal Bryant, and he's not a fan of Herschel Walker. He is not a fan of Herschel Walker, as you're about to see. He went on this fiery rant against him that's gone viral, so I want to go ahead and show you guys. Let's watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, when the Republican Party of Georgia moved Herschel Walker from Texas to Georgia so that he could run for Senate, it's because change was taking too fast in the post-antebellum South. The state had been flipped blue, and there are some principalities that were not prepared for a black man and a Jewish man to go to Senate at the exact same time. So they figured that they would delude us by
By the way, he's talking about Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. They won, of course, in Georgia in, I think it was a special election, right? Yeah, that came after the bulk of the elections. And it was against Kelly Loeffler and Perdue, and they absolutely clobbered them over the head with two arguments. Number one, we're going to cut you $2,000 checks. They're not. And number two, these people are so fucking corrupt, they were in insider meetings just before the pandemic stock market crash happened, and they sold everything and got out and cashed in before the market plummeted. So, like, deeply corrupt, and we're going to cut you $2,000 checks. They're not going to do that. And by the way, all reports are that Jon Ossoff and Warnock, behind the scenes, they were the ones who were prodding Biden the hardest to, for the love of God, do the $2,000 checks. He obviously settled on $1,400, and he made this Weasley argument of like, well, Trump already gave you $600, so it's going to be $2,000 total, so we're going to do $1,400 checks. Very Weasley move, right? But it was Warnock and Ossoff who were behind the scenes, like, for the love of God, do $2,000. We said $2,000, do $2,000.
Picking somebody who they thought would in fact represent us better with a football than with a degree in philosophy. They thought we were so slow, that we were so stupid, that we would elect the lowest caricature of a stereotypical broken black man as opposed to somebody who is educated and erudite and focused. Y'all ain't ready for me today. Since Herschel Walker was 16 years old, white men been telling him what to do. Telling him what school to go to, where to live, where to eat, where to buy a house, where to run, where to sit down, where to sleep, where to pay for abortions, where to buy a gun. And you think they not gonna tell him how to vote? In 2022, we don't need a walker, we need a runner. We need somebody who gonna run and tell the truth about January 6th. We need somebody who gonna run and push for the cancellation of student loan debts. We need somebody who gonna run and make the former president respond to a subpoena. We don't need a walker, we need somebody who will be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding, knowing that your labor is not in vain. Georgia, I need you to know the slave Negroes y'all are used to don't live here no more. We can think for ourselves, function for ourselves, and vote for ourselves. Why? Because we don't need a walker.
Holy shit, man. Everybody knows I'm a very non-religious dude, right? Like, I mean, the name of the channel is Secular Talk. But I must admit, if I was raised in the black church, there's a very good chance I'd be Christian. Because when I was raised Catholic, and so when you go to church, my mom took me until I was like, I don't know, 12 or some shit, right? When you go to church, it's some weird dude dressed in like these super ornate robes, and there's like zero charisma. They've somehow built charisma out of the whole idea of the church. And they stand up there and they're like, a reading from Paul to the Corinthians. God said unto thee, make sure that you arrive. And it's just like, you sit there, you listen, like, why would anybody enjoy this? They don't, like, they don't give you any life lessons. They don't present anything in a way that's digestible. It's all just like routine and going through the motions. And so it just always felt, going to church always felt like the biggest waste of time. It's like, what am I getting out of this? I'm not getting anything out of this. And really, I think for most people who are in that church, it's just like, you know, hey, my parents went here, they raised me to do it, so now I'm doing it, and I view it as like a civic duty type shit. But if I was a little boy and I was brought to a black church, apparently the spot to be at is a black church in Georgia, I would probably still be religious. Because I never would have looked into like the actual arguments against religion, because I'd have been like, these guys are so fucking charismatic, and they're saying things that I think are intuitively correct. So hey, this like I'm with these people. But goddamn, absolutely obliterated them. I love how what you see. There's a lot of evangelical Christians, so like right-wing churches where they get super political in there, and it's all about being anti-abortion and anti-gay and anti-democrat, and it's all across the country, you have that stuff going on. And the only place where they're kind of equally political on the other side is the black church. And here, I mean, he was bringing up canceling student loan debt, right? Like, that's the kind of church, if I were to have to go to a church, that's the kind of fucking church I would go to. Where they actually might bring up issues. And by the way, there are good theological arguments, Bible-based arguments, for a lot of lefty positions. I mean, you guys know this when it comes to, Jesus' stance on the rich, for example. And now I'm not saying the right-wing Christians don't have certain things that they could take out of the Bible, and, because the Bible, you could read it as the most cruel book in the world, or you could read it as the most lovely book in the world, depends on which passages you select, right? But if the right is going to pick the shitty passages and harp away on that stuff, like the anti-gay stuff, then yeah, the left should take the good passages and hype it up and say, look, we can be religious and believe in good things and not bad things, right? So anyway, Herschel Walker got absolutely obliterated here. And of course, you can't go through a segment without Herschel Walker without stating the obvious that he's a fucking fraud. All his I'm pro-life. He wants no exceptions when it comes to abortion. Not for rape, not for incest, nothing. And this is a dude who's paid for roughly 46 abortions. Story just came out the other day. One of the women who he pressured to have an abortion, she says he actually threatened me and threatened the baby. Threatened me about this. Unbelievable. So anyway, but all that aside, yeah, Herschel Walker is a rubber stamp for far-right politics. Whatever shitty tax cut for the rich you put in front of him, whatever shitty deregulation bill, whatever shitty socially conservative anti-gay, anti-trans bill, he'll sign right onto it. Smile on his face. So there you go. Jamal Bryant, pretty good job here. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.